you everybody for joining today's session about the Leadership and Teamwork Certificate Program. I am Nathan Owens, Associate Director for Strategic Initiatives at the Division of Extended Studies. I help manage the program along with several others who are on the call today, including the lead instructors from the program, Rich Mayhew and Dragos Creation, who they will go over their courses and introduce themselves a little bit later. And we also have Connie Torres-Perez, who participated in the program back in 2020, and she's going to join us today during the Q&A to tell a little bit more about what she got out of the program, which I think should be very helpful information for all of you considering taking the program. And then we also have Shauna Slibiota from GEPA, the Graduate Education Postdoctoral Affairs, who oversees a whole bunch of stuff related to graduate students and postdocs, including this program. And she will also be available to answer any of your questions later today. So what is grAdvantage? And Shauna can correct me if I get this wrong. grAdvantage is a whole suite of programs that were developed at the urging of the Chancellor and in coordination with the then called Graduate Division to fill an unmet need with graduate students and postdocs for additional professional development opportunities. As great as a lot of our academic programs are, they weren't necessarily covering some of the critical soft skills people needed for when they left the university. Whether their career was going to go into academia or industry, these skills and knowledge provided through the various grAdvantage programs and resources were meant to improve their chances of being successful throughout their career, regardless of wherever they ended up. So in addition to developing your career skills and competencies, you get to learn about what else is potentially out there as far as your career, whether you're going to go in academia or through industry. And also, as before we got going, Connie mentioned building community. So these are opportunities for you to engage with your peers who you may not otherwise meet, but also learn more about other parts of the university and other ways to get engaged. So related to that, here's an example of some of these resources that are provided. So these can include the Graduate and Postdoctoral Student Association and their career nights, which, by the way, there is one coming up on November 17th, and the topic of which is leadership. So you can hear from alumni and a representative from industry about why leadership skills are valuable, how they develop them, and why a program like this might be something you want to consider taking. Other resources under grAdvantage include the Career Center, the Postdoc Association, the Theater and Dance Department. Actually, they contribute by helping people understand how to communicate the value of their research, which is something a lot of people sort of struggle with because they can get very technical very quick, and you sometimes don't always want to be overly technical. So that's an excellent resource for people. And there are others listed here. As far as what we're here today to talk about is the Leadership and Teamwork Certificate Program. And it was created now 8 years ago to specifically focus on, as the name implies, leadership and teamwork skills. So when the idea first came up, we were approached by the Chancellor and Graduate Division, as it was then called, to develop this program. And then we convened a committee of advisors, primarily from industry, and they said, hey, these are the types of things we look for in successful employees when we either want to hire them or promote them. And if you can build a program that gives people these skills, they're going to be able to hit the ground running. So we took that, got their input, have excellent instructors like Rich and Dragos who teach those skills for you, and they'll talk more about that here in a minute. But what do you get out of it? Well, we want to make sure that the program delivers what it is implied in the name, leadership and teamwork skills. So you'll hear more about this in a minute, but you really will spend some time learning about your strengths and weaknesses as a leader. You know, what your leadership style is and areas where you might want to improve on it. You're going to be doing a lot of time presenting, so you will get opportunities to practice and improve your presentation skills. As teamwork implies, there's also a lot of teamwork-based exercises and projects within this program. So not only will you learn about what makes for a high-performing team, but you also learn, what do you contribute to the team, and how do others contribute to the team, and then how do you make that all work so that everybody meets their goals. You'll be doing a lot of communicating. To be an effective leader or an effective part of a team, you have to make sure you're communicating your ideas clearly and concisely. So it's time spent on that. And what is, I think, also of note for this program, makes it stand out, is that we have the whole component around project management. So in addition to the leadership and teamwork skills that you're learning, you're also going to gain a lot of knowledge around project management. And this is something that, in combination with the leadership and teamwork skills, is really going to help you launch your career after leaving the university. And so Dragos, who teaches that course, will tell you more about that. And this whole program is practice-based. So we have one of the 3 courses, which I'll mention in a second, is devoted to a project. And this project is sourced from a unit on campus. It's a real project, and you'll work on it and you'll deliver results to them. And these projects in the past have made an impact on the unit that brought the project to them. So it's a real world exercise for you to begin applying a lot of the skills that you're learning throughout the program. And in the project management course, there is also a project-based, a group-based project for you to work on. So what is the program? How's it structured? Every year we take up to 40 graduate students or postdocs. This year it's going to run January through June. So it's we're actually going to, and I'll show some dates here in a second, but we'll do an orientation session in December before the holiday break, and then kick off on January 4th. And then we are kind of accelerating the program a bit this year, make sure that we end actually before finals week. So the last class will be on June 6th. The 3 courses, you start off with effective leadership and teamwork in the workplace, and that's really where you're going to be learning a lot about your leadership and teamwork styles. Then you're going to take those leadership and teamwork insights and begin applying them through the practicum that I just mentioned and the real world project that is provided by a campus unit. And then the certificate program wraps up with project management for the collaborative workplace. So you'll be learning a lot about project management, what it is, some of the vocabulary that's used for it, how to build out, the frameworks and all that every time you get a project, and how to be successful doing that. All of these courses are delivered in an online synchronous format. So with the exception of the very first class on January 4th, which is a Wednesday, classes will be held on Tuesday evening from 6 to 9:30 p.m. on Zoom. As much as we would probably like to be back in person, we're not doing it just yet. But we also found doing the live online that a lot of people were joining from their labs or from home. And so a lot of people, sometimes it could be hard to get to a physical classroom depending on where they're coming from. So we wanted to maintain the flexibility this year with the online format. So we will be doing the lectures via Zoom, and to the extent it might be needed, Canvas through extensions instance of Canvas rather than the main campus one, just FYI. Program costs. So the total cost of the program is $395. And that is comprised of a $95 certificate fee that's non-refundable, has to be paid up front once you're accepted in the program. And then you pay $100 to enroll in each course when you enroll in them. So it's not all $395 up front per se. $395 is, for a lot of graduate students and postdocs, significant. So I don't want to discount that. This is a fee that you have to pay in addition to everything else you're covering here at UCSD. But I will point out that this program is heavily subsidized by the university. They see it as a very valuable opportunity for graduate students and postdocs to improve their opportunities for building a successful career. And so they have invested in this program. If we were to offer this program to the public, it would probably be around $4,000 or more.
Yeah.
So this is a very significant value for those who go through that. So that being said, there are possibly opportunities to get sponsored by your department going through this program. That's a decision your department would have to make. But if they want to sponsor a graduate student or postdoc as a professional development opportunity, they can pay the $395 via a department recharge. So if that's something you want to consider, please reach out to your department and their graduate student coordinator for more information about that. Shauna and I will also be following up with the graduate student coordinators in case they have questions on their side about how to do it, but it's pretty straightforward. As far as what the criteria are, well, you just need to be a graduate student or postdoc in good standing. That's basically it. There is an application process. So you go to the website, click apply now, and then begin filling out the information. And it's pretty straightforward. Basic kind of work history, what you're studying, when you're going to graduate, and then a brief statement of interest. So nothing most of you haven't done before. So pretty easy. What are the dates? So the applications are due by December 2nd. We very quickly can then review those and let everybody know whether you're accepted into the program or not. If you're accepted into the program, then you need to pay the $95 certificate fee and the first course enrollment fee of $100. And then we will have an orientation session on December 13th. And that's where Rich and Dragos will again talk about what's coming up in the program, what you need to be prepared to do, because everybody's going to go on holiday break after that, and then kind of forgot about what school's like. And then when we come back, we're going to start on January 4th, which is a Wednesday, not the normal Tuesday, because that would be immediately right after the holiday. And we wanted to give everybody a 1 day great grace period before getting into the thick of things. So there is, unfortunately, my computer decided to put the link in red. I will paste that in chat in a second. But that link goes to the program webpage where there is more information about the program, the individual courses, and then the apply now button, which is what you click to begin the application process. So that covers everything. I think it does. So I want to turn things over to the instructors, Rich and Dragos, who will talk about the courses that you will be undertaking and how they approach them and what you'll get out of that. And then after we go through that, we'll have a Q&A where you'll be able to ask questions and learn a little bit more about the program. So with that, I will turn it to Rich.
Great. Thanks very much. Thanks very much, Nathan, and welcome to everybody. If you don't mind, Nathan, could you take your screen share off so I can see everybody's happy, smiling faces?
There you go.
Thank you very much. Here, let me get on there. Not that I don't like to see that, but all right. All right, folks. So welcome. I'm very excited to have you as being an interested party in this program. Nathan did an excellent job of giving you all the logistics. One of the things that I want to do, and Dragos will follow me up on this, is to talk more about the program. So welcome to this amazing learning journey. A little background on myself. I spent many years as an executive in business before I transitioned into the world of consulting. I work with many clients in my consulting practice, mostly large companies, but not exclusively so. They're based in the US, but I've worked around the world over the years. I'm an experienced leader and I've had assignments from fixing poorly run business operations to starting new business locations. Over the years, I've worked with people of all kinds and have discovered some themes of organizational life that hold true regardless of the country or the industry, or whether you're in academia or government. And these are true no matter what. I'll give you a cheeky statement to kick it off. People are people. And no matter where you work, you get the same issues come up. They just use different language to explain them. So here's what I've discovered through my journey with working with people. First of all, and this is, by the way, going to be what we'll cover in the program. First of all, people are keen to be led. They really want to be led. They don't want to come in and have ambiguity in whatever work they're doing. In fact, a lack of leadership usually causes anxiety and chaos. So we're obviously going to spend quite a bit of time focusing on how to be an effective leader. Secondly, people are tribal in nature. We like to work with others who are like us, and we can have difficulty working with those who are different. And that's where good teamwork comes in, because we'll focus on how do you work with people with diverse backgrounds and personalities. Thirdly, we get things done primarily through our relationships with others. All work we do is teamwork in one way or another. Great teamwork can appear elusive, but it is in fact not. It is built through a disciplined process and heightened self-awareness and awareness of others' motivations and skills. So that combination of those three things are what we're really going to dive into. I will give you a disciplined process for how to build and work on teams. Fourth, people are not often okay with change if they didn't initiate it. Most of us can handle change pretty well if we're the ones that instigated that. If you decided your next career assignment would be in Buffalo, New York, and you chose it, then that's a change for you coming from San Diego, but you probably adjust fine with it. But if somebody told to you, guess what? Your next assignment is in Buffalo, New York, you might have some difficulty adjusting to that change. We will focus on that and how to deal with change. Good leadership and good teamwork is not luck, and it's not based on personality. It can be taught, and it will be taught, and it can be practiced. And we'll do both of those. You will learn about the theory and practice of teamwork and leadership, and you'll get to practice it in the class. Every one of you can become a good leader, regardless of your personality. Sometimes I have individuals who kick off the class, they go, Rich, I don't think I could ever be a leader. I don't even know if I want to be. And by the time we're done with the program, they go, whoa, this is how I could lead. Now, whether they choose to lead or not is up to them, but at least they see they have that option available to them. So these are all the themes that underpin this first course in leadership and teamwork. So I'm going to go through that a little bit more detail. I'll talk about the practicum, and then Drakus is going to take over and talk about the project management class. So in leadership and teamwork, its a title is actually accurate about what we're going to be covering. You're going to get information on how to build a high-performing team, how to be a member of a team, and how to be a team leader. You'll figure out how to create teams and move them from that very clunky stage when the team first forms, and it's always awkward and difficult, and how to move them from that to a place of high performance. You'll also get an opportunity to recognize different behavioral styles and different preferences that people have. And that will affect how you want to work with them. You'll learn what effective leadership looks like and the difference between managing people and leading people, and how to create an empowered, aligned, and committed group pursuing an inspiring direction. So that's really the fundamental essence and foundation of the coursework that we'll do. But in addition to that, there are some subsets of leadership and teamwork that we dive into in a little more detail. So we'll get into how to influence other people and how to use power appropriately, how to manage change, both within yourself, but more importantly, how to manage other people going through change. How do you manage conflict with people? How to motivate and inspire others and maximize their engagement in whatever the work is. And finally, how to develop higher emotional IQ, which is different from cognitive IQ. And we'll dig into that. So along the way, we'll get a lot of tips and tricks given to you on how to effectively work and collaborate and lead in all kinds of organizations. And I'll say this right now, and I know Connie will probably chat about this for a minute too, is even though we're looking at what do you want to do in your next career? Do you want to go into industry, government? And by the way, if you do, you will get to the front of the line on interviews when they find out what you've learned. It's incredible. We've got good examples of people who said, oh, you did this work? You mean you already know about how to manage projects? You know about leadership and teamwork? We'll take you. But regardless of that, you may decide, I want to stay in academia. And guess what? All of this information that you'll discover will be helpful in your academic career. And I know Connie will probably say a word or two about that. So with that, and I think Nathan mentioned earlier, one of the side benefits of being in this group is you're going to develop a new community of people that you would have never met before, and that continues on afterwards. The kind of alumni association, even though it's informal, is pretty big. All right, let me talk a little bit about how we're going to learn to do this. So I don't come from an academic background, which is going to be refreshing for you all. But I'm a very, very experienced and competent trainer of people. This idea of leadership development is done differently in the business world than it may be done in academia. So that's going to be refreshing for you. But also the way I've designed this program is different than what you may have experienced before in traditional academic coursework. I've designed the course to be experiential in nature. And what that means is you're going to work through a learning model over and over and over again. And it's simply this. You will have an experience. You'll get a chance to reflect on that experience. You'll figure out new ways you want to act and behave going forward. And then you get to try it out again. And over doing this repeatedly over about 9 weeks, you start to really build the skills of leadership and teamwork. And that's what makes this really unique, is you got to actually try it out. And that's where those skills are built. You do not build skills by reading a book. You build skills by actually practicing and trying it out. We have a lot of that. In addition to that, we have a hefty dose of self-reflection, and that goes on throughout the course. We do that a couple of ways. One of the ways is through a series of self-assessments you'll complete that will focus on personality and other behavioral traits essential in developing your toolkit as a team member and a leader. And you'll keep track of your learnings through a structured journaling process. So these are all ways to help you reflect. And if you haven't spent a lot of time reflecting about yourself, you will really enjoy that, and you'll go, I want to do this the rest of my life. This really works. So that's the leadership and teamwork course. The next one after that is practicum. The purpose of the course is to allow you to apply all the learnings from leadership and teamwork, which Nathan had mentioned earlier. This is where we focus on real-world application of all of those skills. You will be assigned to a project team that will tackle a problem or issue facing UCSD. These problems are not contrived. You will actually be helping the university improve the student experience. Your team will be assigned a sponsor from the university who will orient you to the issue that you're facing. And then over about 6 sessions, you'll develop a solution. And then you'll present that out to the rest of the group and to your sponsors. Your sponsor will act as an advisor to the team. I will act as advisor to the team as well. And then after the formal presentation, that will be the last session of the practicum course. This is really impactful work that we do in practicum. In the past, we've worked on projects varying from improving the incoming student experience, improving the diversity of ideas at the university, developing a plan for disposal of medical waste, and helping the campus bike shop increase its business and improve its profitability. So you can see we have a wide range of issues. You know, UCSD is a complicated campus, a complicated system. So there's always a lot of stuff that's got to be worked on. So that's the practicum. You're going to love it. And you'll get to apply all the leadership and teamwork principles. Then after that, the pièce de résistance for this is learning about how do you actually run a project? How does that work? And this is a tremendous skill that is not only an important discipline, but is also critical to life in the organizational world. It's critical. And Dragos, I'm going to turn it over to you if that's all right. Talk to them about that course. It's powerful stuff.
Thanks a lot, Rich. Yes, happy to be here for this year, for next year as well. So a little bit about myself. My name is Dragos Creation. I've been doing project management, program management for the last 20+ years. As Rich, I'm coming from a financial background. I've worked for banks all over the world. and I've also worked as a consultant for different organizations throughout the years. I've been teaching project management for over 10 years, and we started this program together about 7 years ago, I think it was, Rich. And I have to say, every year I'm impressed with the quality of the people that I meet here as part of the program. I'm currently also work as a program manager for a startup here in San Diego. So I'm very hands-on when it comes to project management. So about the importance of this course, as you probably know, everything is project-centric nowadays. All the new ideas, every single project, every single need that comes out on the market becomes a project. And it's really important to understand how we run the projects and how these projects should be run so that they're successful. What I'm trying to give you in this course is like this toolbox, right? So every mechanic or carpenter, whatever you name it, has a toolbox. They know everything. They know how to use every single tool that's in the toolbox. And depending on the work they're doing, they're using one tool or another, accordingly. So this is how project management works as well. So we have developed this toolbox over the last 100 years, and we are applying and constantly improving this toolbox. So the purpose of the class is throughout the project that you're going to be assigned to, you will get to learn all these tools in the toolbox and play with these tools as part of your project. So it's really interesting because it's complete richest class in the sense that the project manager is a leader. So no matter how you turn it, it's a leadership position. You're gonna have to run teams. I'm currently running several teams in parallel. And one of the things that we run into often is that these people, oftentimes, they're not your direct reports. So they don't report to you, but you still, they report to you. They're reporting to you just for duration of the project, in which time you have to kind of work with them and actually make them work for you, even though you're not their boss. So, my purpose is that by the end of this project management class, everyone is familiar with all these tools. If I tell you SOW, WBS, critical path, everything is going to be familiar. It's going to be a tool that you've seen, you've worked with, you apply to your project, and you'll be able to apply it in your, whatever your position is. So just to tell you a little bit more, the world we're in, about 60% of the projects worldwide fail. So fail in the sense that they are not delivered on time, they're over budget, the quality is not what we wished for. And so this class really focuses on how to run things, how to get things done on time and under budget. So very, very important, very critical. You can use it in your personal life when you're remodeling your kitchen. You can use it in the academia. You can use it any industry. As I said earlier, it's project centric. So very excited to be here. I think the projects are going to be very exciting for you, and hopefully you are gonna get a lot out of it. So so thank you for being here, and I look forward to knowing you better.
Thanks, Dragos. Appreciate that. So with that, let me share my screen just to make it a little bit more. That worked. I don't know if that worked. Well, Q&A. That's what we're doing now, is Q&A. So with that, I did see a question pop into the chat, but before we do that, I want to first turn to Connie Torres-Perez, who, like I said at the beginning, completed the program back in 2020, 2021. And Connie, maybe very briefly tell us what you're doing right now, and then let us know, how did the program benefit you? What did you get out of it?
So hi, everyone. I'm Connie Torres-Perez. I'm a 60-year PhD candidate in the Department of Chemistry and Biochemistry. And honestly, I took the class right after my candidacy exam. So it was like a period where I had like to change a little bit what my research was doing, like be more independent, things like that. And I was having like career doubts back then. And I thought, okay, the first thing that popped up was this certificate. I'm going to take it because it seems like a good opportunity just to explore. But I found a lot more things there that I didn't even know that it existed. For example, the tools that I learned on the first like course helped me with my relationship with my advisor. We have very different logics, and I learned that in the class, and how I could like use my logic and her logic so we could like work together as a team, even if it's as a team of two. And also in that same line, whenever now I get a new person working with me as an undergrad or a rotation student, because of the program management class, like project management class, I like learned how to design a project that it's like doable in that time and with the resources that we have and with the time that is like the most precious thing for people generally that they have, and to achieve it. So for example, I think my greatest contribution is that I got an undergrad in March with no research experience, and he graduated in June with a lot of it, and now he's in a master's program. So it's like he got it thanks to the skills that I got from this class. I think that's most of it.
Excellent, thank you. There's a question here in chat. So what about evaluation? Will there be exams, tests, homework? Rich, Dragos.
Yeah. As far as leadership and teamwork and practicing is concerned, you will also find this refreshing. The only commitment we ask of you is the 3.5 hours each week on the Tuesday night. Well, except for the first one on Wednesday. That's the commitment you make to the program. And when we get into practicum, the same thing applies. You just work the 3 hours every Tuesday until we get that done. Now, in terms of assessments and evaluations, I have one thing that I'm going to ask of you at the end of leadership and teamwork to produce for me. I hate to call it a final paper because it sounds really grand. And I'll tell you what it is right now. And that is, I will want you to reflect and write down what you learned about yourself as a leader and a team member based on the program. It's not a recitation of all the content. I don't need that. I was there. I saw the content. So I don't need any of that. But what I want to know is, what impact did it have on you? And here's the other refreshing piece. I want you to do that in about 4 to 6 pages. So the idea here is not to show your eloquence in writing, nor is it to show your IQ. It's to show what you learned about yourself. And that's the only output that I ask of you from the leadership and teamwork class. And that'll be due right after the last session. As for practicum, the only evaluation, if you want to call it that, is that your team will make a presentation to sponsors on the last night of practicum. You're not going to be evaluated on it, but it's just a way for you to be able to demonstrate what you've done on the project. So that's it. It's going to be a refreshing change from the intensity of your academic life, and we designed it that way on purpose.
Yeah, and I will add to that for project management, it's the same thing. We will make sure that you have enough time in each class to work on the project. The team project has been assigned to you, and there will be the only evaluation is that there will be a final presentation where you will put together as a team everything that you applied, all the tools that you used for getting the project done. So I think it's fun. Connie can confirm that it's a great exercise for the final presentation, and the projects are fun, and we all have fun listening to your presentation. So, yep.
Yeah, if I can add something, is that sometimes it feels a little bit, how can I say this? Intimidating that it's from 6 to 9 p.m. But a lot of times, like, people would have like their dinner with them, and when you were working in the breakout rooms, we were like, like drinking a beer or something while having dinner and chatting, and that made like the conversation a lot better. So we built the community, even including that. So even like the beauty that it's still on Zoom is that you can still like be much yourself. You don't need to be on campus.
Yes.
Like pretend that you're somewhere else. You're just at home. So it's great.
Yeah. Yeah, I want to leverage off what Connie said. That's exactly right. And thank you for mentioning that. I run a pretty casual session. It doesn't mean that learning won't take place. The learning is pretty rigorous. But as Connie said, just relax, enjoy yourself, bring food, you know, whatever you want to do is absolutely fine. We want to enjoy ourselves during that time.
Nice. Thanks for all that good info. I would add to it, just make sure you do attend the lectures because there are so few of them and it is an accelerated program. If you do miss out on one, I mean, sometimes things happen. People have to travel for conferences and whatnot. But if it's something that's going to be difficult for you to attend, might not get a lot of value out of it. So we do strongly urge you to be able to sit in on all of the lectures. There is a question, based on what will you be accepting applications? So I covered it briefly. The primary criteria for the program is that you be a graduate student or postdoc in good standing, meaning all your fees are paid up and there's no warrant outs for your arrest or something terrible like that. And then you just complete the questions asked in the application. So, what are you currently researching? What department are you in? A little bit of your work history and your statement of interest. Why do you want to participate in the program? What do you hope to get out of it? What are your sort of career goals? We ask that not so much that we're going to say yes or no based on the answer, but it is valuable information for Rich and Dragos. Like when you start the program, they will know a little bit more about you and what you want to get out of the program. So it's helpful information for the way in which the courses will proceed. Speaking of that, and I said I was going to do it earlier and I didn't, here's the link to the course webpage. And if I can manage my computer properly, I will actually pull up the course page. So if you see, do a screen share. So that link will take you to this web page. And you, like I said earlier, you can see more information about the various courses, deadline information, but the one we really want you to pay attention to is this Apply Now button. And you click that, and then you start the application process. So the applications, like I mentioned earlier, are due on December 2nd. So that covers that. There was a question Connie posed before we got going, and this is for Dragos. The project management course, does it help you prepare for the project management industry certificate exam?
Yes, it does. So the project management certificate, the PMP certification, that's worldly recognized, these are the basics for that certification. So once you're gonna take this class, you're gonna, as I said earlier, you're gonna be familiar with all these terms and methodologies. That's gonna just allow you to kind of keep learning in order to pass the certification. And one of the prerequisites for the certification is to have 37 hours of project management training. And actually the project management program that we have here counts towards these 37 hours. So it's a very valuable course.
Wow. All right. So any other questions? Feel free to unmute if you want, or you can type them in chat. Have we answered everything? There we go. Training only for current students. Graduated my MS a few years ago. I'm now a staff member of UCSD. So yes, you have to be a graduate student or postdoc. And Shauna and April from GEPA can confirm that. As for staff, no, I don't think that would be applicable, as you need to be currently enrolled or a current postdoctoral scholar. Correct, Shauna?
That's correct. Yeah.
So sorry about that. There are other leadership and development courses that we offer through the Division of Extended Studies. Happy to follow up with you separately if you are interested in that. There are employee discounts available to you. But this leadership and teamwork certificate program is currently only available to graduate students and postdocs. All right. Well, before we wrap up, I do want to stress the point that Rich mentioned, because we've heard it from employers. Completing this program, as much as it will help you grow as an individual and be a better person all around, it will also have hopefully the added benefit of getting you a job, which is obviously an important thing when you leave the university. Is what are you going to do next? Companies, and we do it. I'm part of the corporate education and custom training group over here in the Division of Extended Studies. And we have several programs where companies are paying a lot of money to pay or to train their employees on this stuff. These are their existing employees. You will have this training before they do. So you coming in as a new applicant, that will be on your resume. They'll probably see that. Hopefully you move to the top of the pile. It's a great way to differentiate yourself in a highly competitive environment when looking for a job. So I don't want to forget to mention that, because that is a pretty important immediate impact. But obviously the broader, longer term benefit to you as an individual is that these skills are useful for you throughout your life in all the things that you do. So we hope you take advantage of it.
Actually, I have a question.
Sure.
What kind of companies offer that program? Like bio companies, or?
It's a wide range of companies that do it. So at the GPSA Career Night, the head of talent development from Sony Electronics is going to join and talk a little bit about the leadership skills that she personally has developed, because she is leading her group there, but also touch on, what Sony looks for in its employees and what it's currently doing for its employees. So, but it can be Sony. We've done stuff for biotech companies. We've done stuff. We have an auto insurance company that we're running a leadership program for their senior VPs and others. We've also had other programs where there are leadership programs for people that will eventually move into management positions. So they may have a technical background. They've been working in a technical job function, but now they're getting at a point where they might be taking on more of a business managerial role, but they need those soft skills in order to do it. A program like this is essentially the same training that they get, but you'll get it before you even leave the university. So that's a big advantage.
I want to add something. So one of the advantages also of the program is that you will work with people that are from a very broad backgrounds and very diverse people that maybe a lot of students like me don't get that training during grad school, where, for example, I tend to just work with chemists, right? Maybe different areas of chemistry, but just chemistry. While in the program, I got to interact with someone that was doing their MBA after 30 years of dentistry experience, someone that was in SIO, someone that was in engineering, so very diverse background, postdocs from the Salk Institute. And all together we came with very diverse, well, not only skill sets, but personalities, and the way we solve problems was different. And we had to work together in at least 2 projects and get to something that was useful. And I feel that training at the end gives you, how can I explain this? Some people are just successful and have these unspoken rules type of knowledge that not all of us get. And with little bits of that in the class, in the different classes, I got all those skills that I didn't know I needed, but I needed to work with people and mentor other people and become a leader, hopefully at some point, and also manage projects, which will be, I'm sure, super, super, super helpful in everything in your career moving on from here.
That's an excellent point. Thanks, Connie, for adding that.
Thank you.
All right. Any other questions before we wrap up today's session?
Hi, I do have a follow-up question about the projects.
Excellent.
So from what I understand, there will be 2 projects involved, one in the teamwork practicum class and another one in the project management class. So for the project management class, are the projects assigned to you, or will you be able to choose from a list?
You will be able to choose from a list, yeah.
And can you give any examples?
You will actually come up with your own projects.
Oh, interesting.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
As for the practicum, part of it depends on what projects we get from the campus units. that are provided. And then Rich, if I'm correct, students can kind of pick which ones they want to work on.
Yeah, to a general degree, we ask for your preferences, and then we do the best to try and fulfill them if we can. Doesn't always work, but we try.
Yeah, because we wouldn't want a project that only has one person on it. So there might have to be some balancing done. But does that address your question? Answer your question?
Yeah.
Yes.
And also,
Yes. Definitely.
those projects, you don't need to work outside of the class on them. You only have time in the class. You have time in the class to work on them. So it's not when they say from 6 to 9:30, they mean it from 6 to 9:30 once a week.
I see. That's very helpful. Thank you.
Okay, well, I appreciate everybody taking the time to learn more about the program. Also want to thank Rich, Dragos, and Connie for taking the time to tell you more about what all is involved. If you have any questions, I sent the link to the specific program page. I've also got the link up to the grAdvantage page, where you can find out a lot more information, not just about the Leadership and Teamwork Certificate program, but all these other resources that the university has developed for you out there. So hopefully you can take advantage of all of that. So thank you. If you do have any questions, you can shoot me an email. I'll just quickly put this into chat, and I'll address those. Otherwise, visit the program page and apply. Look forward to seeing your applications come in. Thanks, everybody.